Vince.
Good afternoon. My name is Vince Gallagher. I'm the Enterprise VISTA Program Associate. We have a VISTA program here. We're in the first year of a 3-year grant for Vistas. And that's what this webinar is about, is recruiting host sites for Vistas. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start off with a little bit of history about our VISTA program, about VISTA itself, and about Enterprise. So when you get a VISTA, you're going to make a difference in Indian country. And this is, the next slide is actually a video, but it's not working, and we can do without that actually. So I'm going to move forward. Enterprise is a nonprofit located in Columbia, Maryland. It was started a number of years ago by a developer named James Rouse. He got his real start and fame in building malls, strip malls on the East Coast, but that didn't fulfill a need that he had for like helping people with affordable housing. So that's how Enterprise got started. He made it on the cover of Time magazine as well. So he's a big mover and shaker in the housing industry. What will a VISTA bring to your organization? Let me explain what the acronym VISTA stands for. It's Volunteers in Service to America. It kind of started shortly after the Peace Corps was started back in the 60s. So what will VISTA bring to your organization? Excellent written and spoken skills, interpersonal skills, experience in organizational processes and group dynamics, self-initiative and motivation, the ability to work independently and with minimal supervision, and a college degree is preferred, but life experiences are taken into consideration. So what the Vistas work off of is called the VISTA assignment description. It's like a blueprint for what they'll be doing for your organization during their years of VISTA working with you. So like I said, it's the foundation for what the VISTA will do during the year. It's what their experience is built on, from recruitment to the end of service. Using VADs to manage, support, and evaluate VISTA members is a key responsibility of the VISTA supervisor. So here's where our VISTAs that we currently have are, and they're all working with Native American organizations, housing authorities. We have the Ho-Chunk Tribe of Wisconsin. We have 2 VISTAs there, and we have 2 sites as well. Opportunity Link in Montana. We have 3 sites there and 2 VISTAs there currently. Okewinge Housing Authority in New Mexico. We have 1 VISTA there. The Lowlander Center in Louisiana, we have 3 VISTAs there and 3 sites. The Denver Indian Family Resource Center, located here in Denver, has 1 VISTA. The Ute Mountain Ute Housing Authority in Southwest Colorado has 1 VISTA. The American Indian Community Housing Organization does not have any VISTAs. I don't know why they're on there, but they will shortly, I'm sure. The Yakima Nation Housing Authority has 1 VISTA, and they're in Washington State. Crow Creek Tribal Housing Authority did have a VISTA, but they no longer do. Santo Domingo Tribal Housing Authority in New Mexico has a VISTA. And finally, we just got a VISTA at the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City. So we have 2 urban programs, Denver and Salt Lake City. So one of the main things that a VISTA does is build capacity for your organization, and in the end, hopefully reducing poverty. So how do they build capacity for your organization? By seeking and applying for grants, fundraising, recruiting volunteers. Of course, I just said they reduce poverty and increase capacity. They help your organization achieve sustainability. And they also recruit partner programs, very important for sustainability. So VISTAs are getting things done in Indian country. The Enterprise Climate and Cultural Resilience VISTAs, that's what their proper title is, are working on tribal housing developments throughout Indian country. And there are also a couple of sites that are involved in sustainable agriculture and also working on some other issues that climate change is bringing, like in Louisiana. Enterprise Tribal Resilience Vistas serve 10+ tribal nations throughout the United States and 3 native urban housing programs. And the Climate and Cultural Resilient VISTA grant is in the first year of 3 years. Vistas have the option to apply for another year, so they can potentially be at your program for 2 years. And this is a great opportunity for Vistas that are local or are tribal members as well. What qualities do they bring to your organization? Leadership, initiation and ambition, interpersonal skills, I've already mentioned some of these, critical thinking ability, personal responsibility, and adaptability and flexibility. So what's the reality of hosting a VISTA? First of all, you should ask yourself, can you support a VISTA? Do you have an office or office space, a desk, a computer, and internet access for that VISTA? Those are just basic things that are needed. Housing issues. This is always a problem with finding housing for VISTAs, especially if they're coming from afar. Like if you're in the West and they're from the East and they're not from there, there's always difficulty with finding housing, especially in rural and on reservations. So sometimes that's why it's best to have a VISTA that's local, because usually they're hooked up housing-wise. They don't have to worry about that. And also a VISTA is going to mean more responsibility for someone in your organization. Someone's going to have to take the responsibility for supervising that VISTA. So added responsibility for somebody. So you have to ask yourself all these questions. So what is the service specifics of a VISTA? They will work 40 hours a week for you. They can seek part-time employment. This is something new this year. They weren't able to do that. They now can work part-time. And they could go to school part-time, but after they've done their day with VISTA first. Your host site will be supported by a VISTA leader. That's a VISTA who's already been had a year of VISTA service under their belt, and now they've been selected to be a VISTA leader. And a VISTA program associate, who is myself. I work with the host site, and Alyssa Franklin, who is our VISTA leader, works primarily with the VISTAs. We will conduct a site visit once a year to your host site. I do that. Throughout that 1 year, there's opportunities for technical assistance and training for yourself and the VISTA, for the supervisor in VISTA. The VISTA builds capacity through seeking grants, recruiting volunteers, and recruiting partner organizations, and ultimately reducing poverty and, in general, making lives better for those they serve. You, as a VISTA host supervisor, will be required to attend some training and technical assistance to ensure success of your program. Cost sharing will be implemented as to encourage the host site to be vested in the Enterprise VISTA program. So it's important that you're committed to the program, that your supervisor is able to attend one training a year. Your VISTA will attend a convening once a year, so it's important that your host site is committed. So what's the benefit for the VISTA? VISTAs mostly, they're at poverty level. They may be able to secure SNAP benefits, but they get a $1,025 a month stipend. Money for college, they can get $5,815 for college, or they can get an $1,800 cash payout at the end of their service. They get the benefits of being in a non-competitive status for the federal government for 1 year after they complete their VISTA service, so it gives them kind of a foot in the door with the government. Gives them invaluable experience they're not going to find anywhere else. And they're going to build relationships that are lifelong. Just some brief slides about what VISTA has done for people that are going to college over the years. They pay $3.3 billion for college and $1 billion for student loans. What's the impact of the VISTA? If you want to make changes in your community, apply to Enterprise's Tribal and Cultural Resilient VISTA program. And one VISTA per year can tutor up to 27 children. They serve 890 hours. They recruit 31 volunteers. They raise $8,400, and all for $10,100 in federal funding. So that's pretty cheap service. That's just a joke. The first Native American housing cluster, pre-HUD. This is, like I said, we meet once a year. This year, the VISTAs met in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the American Indian Art Institute for talking about climate and cultural resiliency. And then we did a field trip out to the Owinge Housing Authority and plastered pueblos. They're like over 200 years old. They're trying to preserve them, so they're raising funds for that. So your VISTA will go to convening once a year as well as your supervisor. And that is it for the slides. Got any questions?
Just a reminder, if you've got questions for Vince, you can type them into the Q&A box, which is located on the lower right-hand side of your screen. And if you're on the phone, although most people aren't, but if you are, you have a phone icon next to your name, you can click the raise hand button and I can unmute your phone line. And our first question comes from David, who'd like to know, how flexible can the scope of work and duties be?
It can be fairly flexible. It kind of all depends on what the needs are for your organization. Like I said, we deal with housing primarily, but we're also doing anything kind of around climate and cultural resiliency. Like I said, there's like 3 sites that are doing food sustainability projects, and we have one doing a housing preservation project. So somewhat flexible. I mean, I guess I'd have to, I have to know more about the program and what their goals are and what they want to do. But yeah, there's some flexibility, yes.
Okay. Our next question is, how long is the volunteer's assignment?
For 1 year. And they sign up for 1 year, and they can sign up for an additional year if they feel like, or if their whole site thinks that they've done a well enough job to stay another year, but they can stay up to 2 years. So initially, though, it's a year.
Okay. And waiting to see if we get some more questions in.
The deadline is August 31st.
Okay, good to know. And while we wait for some,
oh, go ahead.
I'm not seeing any additional questions come in, but I'm sure that there are more out there. Again, Q&A box in the lower right-hand side of your screen. And Vince, did you want to demonstrate the online application?
Yeah, is that Auto Intro 1? Oh,
no, it's share and then application.
Okay. Oh, there. Oh, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get that drop-down box come down.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you should have share, application, and then choose your browser.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so we can run over the application. It's pretty basic. Just your organization's name, all your demographics, I guess, good phone numbers, who your main contact person is going to be. Like, we have a couple sites that have 2 contacts. One is better just for communication. Rather than dealing with 2 supervisors, one is always better. But what's your 501c3 status? You should be a nonprofit. And do your proposed activities address the needs of families that are 80% above the poverty level, I believe that is, the medium income? Number of vistas you want, depending on your project, you could probably ask for 2, but you may not get it. Doesn't mean you won't, but just for one thing, right now, our vistas, we're going to be like we have 5 open spots right now, but we're going to try to, we've been kind of piecemealing vistas in throughout the year, but we want to get one recruitment cycle so we recruit everybody at the same time. Who your organization or who your organization supervisor is going to be, what that current supervisor's role is in the organization, contact information, if you can provide the logistics for the VISTA, the desk, the office, the computer, the internet. If you could do a housing stipend, because I did discuss earlier how hard it is to house a VISTA, and there's rules about that as well. The stipend cannot go to the VISTA, it has to go to the landlord directly. So, and that's stuff we can talk about later and cross that bridge when we come to it, but that's just something to think about is housing. Talks about Section 4 grants, and they can't be used for cost sharing, so if you're already getting a Section 4 grant, you can't use that. Develop a list of people that you're already partnering with. Where you're going to be recruiting, if you're going to be recruiting in the community or outside. And like I said, ideally, local vistas are the best. And if you do have volunteers, maybe you already have volunteers that might be interested. And then there's a questionnaire that you have to look at. It just talks about your host site, who you serve, that kind of thing. Any questions?
Checking the Q&A box, and we're looking for the raised hands. While we're waiting to see if we get some more questions in, just a reminder that this session is being recorded, and the recording plus a copy of the slides, which have a lot of information in them, will be made available to all attendees, usually within 24 hours of the session, and a link will be emailed to everyone. So that will hopefully be going out tomorrow afternoon. And just checking, got a very quiet group here today. Checking to see if we have any more questions coming in. I'm not seeing any. Vince, do you or also our Enterprises Sarah Torcell, do either of you have any wrap-up comments for us?
I just encourage everybody to apply. It's a good program, and it's not very costly to you, and the benefits are great to your program.
All right. Well, I think this is a speedy one, but we seem to have worked through all the information. And again, the copy of the slides and the recording will be going out to all participants probably by tomorrow afternoon. And Vince, if you want to click on the Stop Sharing button, and we could show your contact information just in case there are any. If you click on that third tab over that says VISTA presentation. Actually, here, I think I can bring that up for you. There we go. Just in case there are any other questions, there's Vince's contact information, and that'll also be going out as part of the slides.
If you have any questions, get a hold of me.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Vince. Thank you to all of our attendees today. And again, look for the link. Absolutely. Look for the link tomorrow. And thank you for joining us for this live online event. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Don.